should probably buy another mic, like an actual mic, instead of using this because it's just annoying sometimes. Anyway, let's do this. Hi everyone, welcome back to my annual TBR video. So last year I didn't get to reach my goal of reading 20 books. I only read 14 books last year, so I'm gonna insert pictures of all the books that I read last year onto the screen right now so you guys can see which ones I was able to read off from last year's TBR video list thing. As I mentioned in that previous TBR video, I'm not gonna be mentioning the ones I've already mentioned in previous videos because I feel like they're just gonna be repetitive. But yeah, anyway, moving on, let's get into this TBR list. So the first book in my 2024 TBR is Crank by Ellen Hopkins. This is also the book I'm currently reading. It is the first book that I'm reading of this year. I've had this book for a while, I just haven't showed it in any of the videos. It's pretty thick. However, when I opened it up, I was surprised to see this because I was expecting, you know, normal novel with words filling up the whole page, but this isn't like that, which is super interesting because all of the pages are like this. They look like poems, but they're not. So yeah, all of the pages are like this. They're structured so like differently and like so uniquely. I've never seen a novel or read a novel like this before, so this is so cool and like interesting to me. So yeah, this is the first book that I'm reading this year. But yeah, I was actually planning to read this next book first, but I just wasn't feeling like reading nonfiction, and you guys have seen these next few books before. This is Eating Animals by Jonathan Safran Foer. The only reason why I didn't start reading this one is because I just wasn't feeling like reading a nonfiction book, so I decided to go with Crank instead of this one. And then the next book is The Omnivore's Dilemma by Michael Pollan. I've been really getting into nonfiction lately, so you guys will see a lot more nonfiction in this TBR list. The next one is, of course, Permission to Feel by Dr. Mark Brackett. And then the next book, I don't have the physical book with me right now. I took it with me to the province and I left it there. And that book is I Am Malala. Alright, let's go ahead and move on to this next section of this list. These next books, I don't have physical copies of these because these are ebooks and audiobooks. And also, fun fact, all of these books that I'm going to be sharing with you, I've won these books in giveaways on the Storygraph, which is so amazing. I like to join a lot of the giveaways because you never know if you're gonna win anything. I don't join every single giveaway. I read the synopsis of each of the books, and if it's something that I'm interested in, then I'm gonna join it. And fortunately, I do win sometimes, and it's just super fun whenever I get like a notification saying that I won a giveaway. It's such a nice surprise. So yeah, I love joining these giveaways because it gives me an excuse to get me more books. These next two books are ebooks. So the first one is called When I Bleed, Poems About Endometriosis by Maggie Bowyer? I don't know how to pronounce her last name. I'm so sorry if I'm butchering it. But yeah, this is the first ebook that I won last year. And then the next ebook that I won on Storygraph, this is a more like recent giveaway that I won. And it's called Home of Her Heart by Tara Goldstein. Goldstein or Goldstein? I think it's Goldstein. And then these last few books are all audiobooks, and they're also from the audiobook app Audrey, which I've shared before in a favorites video, I believe. The first one is Pride and Prejudice. I know I have a physical copy of this. I was planning on actually reading it alongside listening to the audiobook, but I currently don't have the copy of it right now. It's in the province. When I do get to travel back there, I'll have to remember to take it back with me. The next one is A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. I actually started listening to this one last year. I just didn't continue it because I just wasn't feeling it at the moment. So I decided to just stop listening to it and then come back to it whenever I actually do feel like listening to it again. And then the next book is Anne of Green Gables. I've never read this book before, but it is like another like classic, I guess, I think. And then lastly is Dracula. I actually started reading Dracula when I was still in college. I was reading it for class, but I didn't really get too far along in the book. I think I stopped reading after like the first few chapters because it suddenly became like not a reading that we had to do or something like that. So yeah, I just didn't continue it. I really wanted to win this giveaway because I really enjoyed the book while I was reading it in college. So yeah, I was just really excited about this giveaway. So yeah, that is it for all of the books in this year's TBR. I hope I do get around to reading most of these. I know I say that every year, but that is my goal, is to read most of the books on this list. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention what my reading goal is for this year. So my goal last year was to read 20 books. I obviously did not reach my goal. I only read 14 books. But this year I decided to just lower back the number down because, again, most of my books are not with me. They're in the province and I don't know when I'm going to be able to go back. So my goal for this year is just to read 12 books, so 1 book per month, which I think is very, very doable. Anyway, that is it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!